too slow.
Light speed too slow?
Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Here, coming by hot again on the downwind. Holy smoke. That's full power. Woo! Going upstairs. Oh, it is unlimited vertical. If you ever heard of unlimited vertical, this is it. It really contrasts well. By the way, that whole dive was power off. I haven't even added any yet, so let me add some in here. I'm gonna go down to a low elevator. Coming by hot again. Wow. Oh, very easy to control upside down. Very precise though, I tell you. Very manageable. Gears coming up. I'm just going to point it up, go upstairs. See those wings flexing. There's lots of spar in this thing. That's full throttle, folks. I'm hammering on this thing. Coming by hot, Steve. Here we go. Man. 70% rate. Done. All right, I'm getting an alarm. Let's go vertical. Yeah. Flaps coming up. There we go, beauty. All right, chain on that rudder. I'm just going straight up, baby. Going upstairs like a bat out of hell. It's clean. There we go, nice. Nice touch and go, two of them. Power's coming in, going straight up, gear flaps up. I think we're pushing our luck a little bit today with this. Wow, that's all I gotta say. Beautiful inverted, look at that. Push it out. Hey guys, Rich here. Once again, welcome back to the RCINFORMER YouTube channel. It is new release day here. We have a fast one coming from E-flite and Horizon Hobby. This is the all-new V1200. This builds upon the earlier V900 that is still available. The V900 was a smaller 900mm 4-cell power plane that was super fast, but now what they've made for us, which is really sweet, folks, instead of a hand launch and belly airplane, we now have one with retractable landing gear. It runs on up to 6 cells. It assembles with 6 screws, and it's boasting 140 miles an hour of speed. So this is going to be quite a popular airplane. As you saw from the intro, this thing is quite fast. It is just a kind of a ballistic missile, and those flight demos are going to be coming to the RCINFORMER YouTube channel very soon, if they're not even posted now. Also, you not only access them through the channel, but through the upper right-hand corner of this video. We have the white information card you can pull down and all the associated videos associated with this on grass and on pavement. They'll be right there that you can even click on now and get to. We're doing all our videos that way to make them easily accessible to you guys. Now, as usual, this is an unbox. It's an assembly. It's a setup. It's quite lengthy. So down in the description of this video, there's a lot of links, starting off with a hyperlinked chapter list down there somewhere that you can get to. So you can access each part without having to watch the whole thing through if you don't have to. If you want to see a specific part where I talk about a certain part of the airplane, you can go right to it through the hyperlink chapter list. Also down below are links to our Instagram and Twitter account. We're posting on Twitter and Instagram. Instagram especially every single day. And there's also links to purchase below as well. If you guys feel like supporting our channel and no extra cost to you, if you use our links below to get one, you guys get a great airplane and you support our channel as well, and we really appreciate that, guys. Otherwise, you guys can help us out. Please like and subscribe, comment on our videos, share our videos, and be sure to hit that notification bell down below the video in the right-hand corner, and then you'll be notified when we put new videos out on this and other new releases that are coming here. So anyway, without further delay, folks, let's get this thing out of the box. Let's take a look at all the parts. Let's get it together, and I just can't wait to get this out, guys. So let's get to it. To start off the review, we're just going to take a quick look at the outside of the box. Horizon always has the nicest box art. Real slick blue and white paint job with a gray underside. Again, 1.2 meter is the wingspan on this. And it also has smart technology, and of course there is a real flight version of this plane on the real flight simulator that you guys can check out. So we'll flip this thing around and take a look at a few things. Easy to fly with AS3X, high power 4 to 6 cell compatible with a SPEKTRUM Smart ESC. It's 100 amp, so it's smart, so it'll have all the telemetry, operational flaps and retracts, and fast and versatile, stable slow flight with speeds up to 140 mile an hour plus. We'll look at some of the other box art on this thing. They really do a nice job with their photos there at Horizon Hobby. And we'll flip it around to the back side there. You can see with the retracts down. Really nice, slick. Looks like an aluminum spinner as well, and we're going to get into that. And of course, AS3X and SAFE technology. SAFE technology being that switchable technology that acts as a pitch and roll limiter, which is can be beneficial. And then right to the specs here. We can look at the wingspan of 42 inches or 1200 millimeter, 43 inches in length. And we can see once it's in, I outlined a couple things here. They do say up to a 6 cell 3200 to 7000 milliamp pack and digital metal geared servos as well. And again, DSMX technology, safe, AS3X, smart, so it does have an Avion 100 amp ESC, brushless motor, we know about that. And actually it is a 800 kV motor, so this thing is going to really turn. Digital servos, retracts, and of course durable high density EPO material. And again, there's another shot of it. And then here on the side of the box really gives you the we see the plug and play version right here, the bind and fly. I'm going to be showing you the bind and fly version, skill level 2, and you can see what's included and the part number here to order it, and you can also check that link below as well. Again, 800 kV motor comes installed. 100 amp Avion Spectrum ESC, that's installed. Servo, 6 digital metal gear installed. Receiver comes with the AR637TA with AS3X and SAFE technologies. That's installed, and then required, your transmitter is a 6 to 7 channel DSMX X or DSM2 compatible, that's required, and again a battery 32 to 7000, EC5 or EC3 connector. We'll see what's in there, and of course you need a charger for your battery. So we'll put that aside, and let's get into the nitty gritty here of what here is in the box. So I already cut the tape here. We'll take a look. There's our instruction manual. I'll put that aside. We'll see what we got here. Some Velcro. And there's your screws. This looks like a spar probably for the tail fins. And we'll pull this out and look at our lower fins that are, our horizontal stabilizers and elevators that are pre-bagged, pre-painted. Our center wing section with a dark gray underside. That might need a little bit of color. We may add to that. This is the first time I'm seeing this. But one-piece wing with our connectors. We'll put that aside as well, and then we'll pull these two little plug-ins out. And we will grab our fuselage here out of here. Yeah, nice aluminum spinner. We'll quickly just pull this out of the bag, and what we'll do is we'll get all the parts out of their bags. We'll lay everything out, and we'll get a closer look at everything. Here's the layout of all the parts that came out of the box, and you can see it's going to be a real simple assembly. Just 6 screws down here, 4 machine and 2 self-tapping screws for the tail. The machines are for the wings, and this will be ready to fly really in minutes, folks. They've done a tremendous job. Fit and finish is outstanding. Lots of carbon spars through anything. It's a very tight, very rigid airplane, and it's pretty darn solid. Start here at the nose of the airplane. You can see the very steep pitch prop and really sweet aluminum spinner. It has a, I think it's a 50-56 or 50-65 motor in there, 800 kV. It's solid. We'll take a look at that. Avion speed controller is in there. Servos are mounted for your rudder and elevator, and plug-ins painted. Decals are all on it, ready to go. The wing, super rigid with carbon spars all the way throughout it. Landing gears installed. Flap and the aileron servos are installed. It's just tough. Your plugins are right there. Once you attach this thing, all the connections are made. And then right down here, here's your horizontal stabilizers and elevators with the spar between the two of them that I just stuck in there. And it's pretty solid, folks, this thing. And then they give you some Velcro, which is really nice for your batteries, or you can use shelf liner like I use, which is kind of nice. They set it up that way, so they must be watching my videos. And then your 6 screws and your instructions. And that's it, folks. It's pretty darn sweet. So let's start off at the tail end of this thing. Actually, we'll go down here to the elevators. And here's what I did. I went ahead and took the carbon spar that came out of the box, and you can see how these things fit together real nice. And then you got a single screw that goes through here. I don't know if they go through the top or the bottom. We'll look at that a little closer, but they have upped their game on this. Look at the spars running through this thing. They're very, very rigid control surfaces. Even the horizontal, or even the elevator has a spar that runs through it. Really nice laminated foam hinges all around, and ultra durable ball links and horns. Look how tough those babies are. There's new horns on this thing, or new ball links and everything, new linkages, but look how nice that is and how much surface area to distribute the load, and 3 screws going through that. Brass balls and nylon lock nuts. So this is about as tough of assembly as you can get. Just super nice fit and finish, if you guys can see that. Super nice. Only a couple of little vacuum holes or vacuum ports through there, and that's it. Super, super strong. Probably a good idea to exercise all your surfaces a little. They are foam hinges. They're laminated, but they're tough. They're really nice. And of course, with a foam hinge, the gap is sealed up. So this is a high-speed plane. That's exactly what you want here. So let's get on to the fuselage here. The fuselage is solid. You see how nice this aluminum spinner is. I'm going to back off a little bit. Really super nice. It's ready to go. It's amazing how prefab we've gotten. Looks like a tough Allen head screw to get in there. Real steep pitch on the prop. I looked in the manual but couldn't find it. It looks like it is probably an APC prop or something, but you know, we'll get into the manual, see if we can figure that out. Nice plastic cowling, nice intakes on both sides. You can see how mean of an airplane that this thing is. Just simply awesome. Look at this thing, man. It is sharp, it is slick, it is clean. There's even a NACA scoop underneath where we can take a look at the motor. Here's where I pulled the specs out. You see the size of the motor here. Look at this. It's a 5065. It's a huge motor driving this giant pitch prop. 800 kV in there. Just ready to go. Doesn't get any better than that. Lots of cooling coming in the front of this thing with those 3 scoops over that motor, over the speed controller, through everything, over the battery, and then out the back. 3 huge cooling holes in here. You can see the wood doubler. That probably runs all the way back here to make the fuselage really rigid. And nice plastic cowl. You can remove it with a screw here, here, and on this side. So there's 3 to get that cowling so you can access in there. And then across the bottom, there's some massive blind nuts you can see in there with that wood tray in there. You can see our plugins right there, where our wing, 3 plugins right down there is going to plug right into this thing. So all you have to do is put your wing right on. The connections are made for your ailerons, gear, and your flaps, and then 4 big honking screws go in there. I think they're 4mm metric. So they built this to be really, really tough. Couple of exit scoops right there, so air can exit right there from the battery area as well. Look how clean this thing is. I mean, this thing is just like a smooth fish. This thing's built for speed, built to go fast. And then we get down to the tail, how slick this is. I mean, this is like a Formula One racer here. This is your screw holes where your horizontal stabilizers plug in. A single screw goes through. I believe those are self-tapping. We'll take a look as we get a little closer into it. And then tough ball links. Look at these babies, man. These are thick and tough, clearly thicker rods as well. Designed for speed. Nice big tail wheel and rudder doubler here. This is all plastic, designed to support this tail wheel back here. That's built into the rudder, and then a plastic doubler here as well. So this is all meant to take some tough landings and without damaging the rudder. And you can see a spar, clearly a spar, jig, slots. You can see that spar running through the rudder, which you don't normally see, but clearly they know this is going fast. They wanted to make it tough, even put a spar right through here, through the vertical. So the whole plane is really rigid. You can tell that there's spars through here because when you try to twist the fuselage or turn it, it doesn't want to bend much. It's about as solid as you can get. And then this plastic doubler right here where the horizontal stabilizer fits in, it just doesn't get any nicer than that. Just all plastic, solid fitting, solid fairings all the way around. Here, we'll flip this over to this side. We can see the other side. And you can see that little tail wheel in there. Very slick, very clean, all designed to be sort of a, you know, a fast, hot rod racing plane. Look at these ball linkages here. I'll see if I can zoom. Let me zoom in on those a little bit. These things are solid. Look at these things. That's like a new design. Very, very tough. Very thick rods. I'm blown away, folks. This is really, really nice. And then the inside. It is tough to get into the inside of this thing. You guys, if you get one of these, you'll see what I'm talking about. They have done two magnets, sort of reverse the polarity of them, and it's really hard. There's a tongue and groove up front, so when you get this open, you got to do some serious pulling on this thing. And they did that intentionally because the air is going to be flowing over this thing so fast that it's probably going to make a low pressure on the top here and tend to pull the canopy off. So they made it hard to get into. So you got to grab this thing. I did this off camera once or twice, and you got to really pull on it tough. And it's very hard to get that off. And honestly, that's what you want. And you can see here what they did. I'll try to zoom on this so you guys can see this. You can see what they did with the magnets. Can you see the plus sign on this magnet? And then the plus sign on the top magnet here. So the top magnet here is a positive. The bottom magnet on this one right here on the canopy, you can see that's a plus. So they reverse the polarity. So as you first go to put this thing in place, okay, and you go to install this, it's actually repelling away, okay? It repels until you get both those magnets lined up, and then watch what happens. It just snaps it, it grabs it shut because they want to make sure this thing is tough on there because there's a lot of speed, a lot of low pressure going over this. So it is kind of hard to grab this thing off. So you grab it and just pull. It feels like you're going to break it getting it off, but you won't. You really got to pull hard. There's a tongue and groove in the front. No pilot or anything because we don't care. At 140 miles an hour, you're not going to be even seeing the pilot or looking anywhere around there. So starting off here at the back, look at this whole tray. It's all laid out really nicely. Notice they didn't put any Velcro down here because maybe they're watching my videos, but they're leaving it up to you. If you want to run Velcro here for your batteries, they've got all the Velcro down there you can stick on there. I'm going to use my shelf liner. I'm psyched. Maybe they're watching my videos and realizing that some of us like to use our shelf liner down here so we don't have to have Velcro on our batteries. So clean battery floor. I like it. Thumbs up to Horizon for doing that. We can choose how we want to attach our battery. Nice tough straps. Look at the whole bottom of this thing is wood. It is solid, and I think a good part of that wood tray, in fact I might go all the way down to the tail. Actually, as you can see here, there is some wood tray that goes all the way to the back for rigidity. And then starting at the back here, look at these servos, folks, and look how they did, look at the innovation they did on the elevator here. They put one on top, one on bottom with a very short throw because you don't need a lot of throw in these control surfaces. Top and bottom, so there's equal travel on the right and the left side of the elevator, so you don't have any disparity between the two. So very sharp, very good thinking on that, and tough ball links like we've seen all the way around on this. And again, I think these are 4mm metric screws with these blind nuts you can see here. There's two there, and then there's two up here. There's one down there, right in there, and then there's one kind of down underneath there. You can't see it's under the speed controller. So solid blind nuts, 4 of them to put these in. You can also see for strength and for rigidity, you could see the carbon spars, top running all the way back, bottom running all the way back on both sides. So this thing's meant for some serious rigidity. There's our exit hole that you could see there for some air. One antenna is run here, and I'll probably bury that down in here. The other one is kind of flopping around here. I'll run that horizontal somewhere. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then there's our SPEKTRUM receiver, our AS3X. It's got that rubber silicone glue to hold it down in there. It also has a bind button here as well that you can bind with. Also has a bind plug. But everything's connected and pretty much ready to go. And there's our Avion. I don't know if I'm saying that right. There's our EC5 or IC5 connector, I should say, compatible with EC5s. There's our Avion or Avian Smart Technology 100 amp ESC. This thing is going to haul the mail. Just a sweet cockpit setup. I'm really excited that Horizon Hobby has really decided to leave the battery installation up to us, because in this case I don't have to take mine out. I can just put my shelf liner down there and you can choose how you want to do it. But this is tough, folks. This is a rugged fuselage. Let's get this thing back on one more time. Again, as you push it on, you can feel the opposite polarity of the magnets repelling, but once you snap it down there, it grabs it and it takes it. So clearly, folks, this thing's designed for high speed. So super nice. On the fuselage, we'll put this thing right back down here and we'll get onto the wing. This is tough, folks, tough and robust. There is a lot of spar under this. You try to flex this and just feel it. It's rigid, man. They got a lot of spar in this. Nice thin wing, but very rigid. You could see the carbon spars running throughout this all the way down to here. This whole piece right here is a sticker all the way along here. It goes all the way out to here. Even the aileron, I think, is a sticker, but this is all a sticker trim covering up this thick black carbon spar. There's another spar here. There's another spar running through here, and there's one running along here. So when you guys get this and you flex this, the rigidity of this wing is tremendous. Probably my only complaint maybe is the dark color, but we'll see how that is against the background, against the sky, because you know what? It's got a white belly and it's got white wingtips, and it may really stand out. I won't know until we have it up there. Having that contrast of color may really make the underside, stick out quite a bit. But you can see the retracts are in here ready to go. They're installed, metal trunnions all the way around. We've got really nice laminated foam hinges. We've got super tough ball links all the way around. Super tough horns as well. As we flip it around to this side, you can see they put the sticker right over that. Kind of helps streamline it a bit. And really nice kind of belly pan. Nice screw doublers to get our screws in place. Again, only 4 screws to get our wing on. And 2 for your elevator. Nice fairings, servo fairings right here. Those are contact cemented in place, so we can get those off. But look at if we have to change the servo, we can get into those. But look at the rigidity of this wing. This thing's tough, man. It is just solid. The feel is outstanding. And looking at the top side, let's look at this. Beautiful fit and finish. Very nice foam hinges, all laminated once again. Flaps as well. I think I got that servo kind of stuck there, but we'll pull that back. No, it's coming back. And then our flaps as well, we'll mess with that. Again, foam laminated hinges all the way around. I just love these new horns, man. A lot of surface area on this thing, and very tough. Very tough. And then here on the top side, again, looking at that detail, a lot of sticker. Let's see, some of this is sticker and some of this is paint. No, I think all of this is sticker. I think this is just a huge sticker on the front of this thing. And nice V1200 Horizon stickers. And look how clean the belly is of this. No exposed wires, nothing. It's all pre-wired. One for your aileron, one for your flaps, and one for your retractable landing gear. And it's just clean. We bolt this baby onto the bottom with 4 screws, and we are good to go. I'm impressed, folks. This is gonna be fast at the field flying, 140 miles an hour, but also fast out of the box. We'll get this going quickly. I'm digging this. This is simply awesome. I can't get over this thing. And then of course they do give you a bind plug here, which we'll bind up here shortly. And take a look at these screws. Yeah, these are all, no more 3mm. These are 4mm tough metric screws. And then there's just 2 self-tapping screws for the elevator to get on there. And then here we go, instruction manual. Pretty simple, folks. Just all the parts we talked about there. Very easy to get going. Our rates and setup for everything. There's our Dimensions again, I think I misspoke before, 47-inch wingspan, 43 on the length. I think I just looked at the 2 and that caught my eye. But anyway, and then again, setup here again for your DX. I'll be using my DX9 as usual right here, and it shows you all the setup and how to get to that. And then they do give you a little info here. I'll look at this before proceeding. Remove the spinner propeller. Never attempt to program radio components without the prop and spinner off. So it's a good idea to remove your prop and spinner when you're setting this thing up. You do not want this thing going haywire on your bench. Take it off, get your thing set up, and then when you're ready to get it out flying, then go ahead and put that thing back on. But you can see here, horizontal stab assembly. Super simple. Both halves go on with the spar. 2 screws for that. They also give you the proper horn placement there, and then you can see your wing goes on, 4 screws there, and they talk about your linkage as well, making sure all your control surfaces are neutralized, and that's it for the assembly, folks. You're done. It's like that's it. 1-page assembly and you're completed. So there it is. That's all you got to do to get this thing going. Battery goes in there. They talk about throttle and trim a little bit. Here's using the bind button and the bind plug, plugging with SAFE and not using SAFE. And then some other setups. There's your SAFE Select switch designation again, servo horn placements, and they talk about prop and spinner. And here's our CG. Back from the leading edge of the fuselage. They talk about that being 120 from the leading edge. We'll discuss that in the flight demos. We'll get into that when we fly it. We'll talk about it. Here, 3 seconds of trimming. Once you've trimmed, let your plane stay level for a few seconds, and that's it. They go into port assignments, some other parts and things here, and that's really about it. I think we get into other languages here. So, folks, this is absolutely sweet. So, let's go ahead and show you how simple the airplane is to put together. Now, the V1200 is so easy to put together. It's so simple that I'm just going to do it for you guys here just in one take. We'll go ahead and turn this around. We'll get the tail on first. We'll start with the tail spar. All we have to do really is just insert that through the hole about halfway in there. Taking our horizontal stabilizer halves, just lining that up with the receiver tube and the spar, and just sliding that in so it fits into the plastic groove there. Same thing with this side. We'll line that up. I love it when planes fit together like this. We'll get this to pump into place here. It fits between the plastic pretty snugly, and that's really about it. Now, there's only 2 screws, folks. There's just two self-tapping screws. We're going to go ahead and put those in there and just kind of line them up with the holes, and then taking kind of a fine point screwdriver here. We're going to line those up, as you can see here, and we'll get that down in place. You don't want to squeeze too tight because you have foam sitting between plastic and, you know, or foam in the middle of 2 pieces of plastic, a top and bottom. And you definitely don't want to over tighten them and squeeze the foam out, so, or squeeze it together too much. You kind of indent all that stuff. So you tighten it up, and there it is. That's pretty much it for the tail, except for you know, just connecting the ball links. So there's 2 ball links, preferably if you have a set of ball link pliers. That's really the way to go. We're just going to line the 2 of these up with their ball links with the respective side, and you can use pliers if you have them. If that's all you got, just snap those in place, make sure they're lined up, and that's pretty much it, folks. That's it for the tail. You can see how nice that is right there, both sides. The plastic fairings are beautiful. I mean, these fins fit in there very nicely. And then the underside here, you can see how nice those ball links are. Nice and robust ball links there. The thing fit together just beautifully and snaps on. So next up really is just getting the wing on. Wing's super simple as well. All we're going to do is put this back on our cruise-in stand. The cruise-in stands here are always good for desktop type stuff like this. So, and then we're just going to put the wing on. There's 3 connections right there that just automatically plug in. One for your aileron, one for your flaps, one for your landing gear. We're just going to drop this right down on top. Make sure it centers up there, and it should drop right into place. And as you push it in, you can feel those 3 connections kind of going in there, those leads. And then we have 4 screws. They're 4mm metric. There's 2 long ones. They go in the back because you got this little hump there, this little P-51 reminiscent like hump, except there's no scoop there. And then the short ones just go in the front. And that's really it. You can see the hole there. And we need a thicker screwdriver. I'm actually using a 5mm. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of loosely get those down there, get them preliminary secured in place, kind of wiggle them around, make sure they're biting, which it looks like they are. They're all going down in there. And keep in mind, just as we saw on the inside of the airplane, there's blind nuts going into plywood, so this is actually backed up by quite a bit of strength there. And then one technique I use to make sure that we don't over tighten is I'll put a thumb or a finger right on that seam. And as I tighten this thing up, you can feel that seam tightening, and you can feel the screwdriver tightening as well. So you can watch this plastic fitting, make sure it doesn't go down into the foam. That means you're over tightening it, so you don't want to do that. So, but I always put a finger on that seam, which I can feel it in there, make sure I'm not going too tight. Same thing on all 4 of these. And it goes in beautifully, folks. Very easy assembly. Just 6 screws, and that's it, guys. It's together, and I mean, it really doesn't get any better than that. Super simple to get it together. Now it's just time to bind and fly. Prior to binding, I decided to go ahead and set up the battery compartment area and just get it ready to go. And then also remove your propeller and spinner, because this is a 50, 65, 800 kV, and with a prop attached, if this ever let loose, started spinning on your bench, you're probably going to destroy or damage something or get hurt. So definitely want to pull that off of there, that's for sure. And then just for demonstration purposes, I took the wing off. It only was 4 screws, just so I can maneuver this in the camera, just to show you guys a little bit better. You can see the elevator servo wire. I ran across that edge, 3 pieces of tape here just to get it out of the way. Rudder wire I ran across here, 3 pieces of tape again just to get them out of the way of the battery. And then you can choose what you want to use to hold your battery down. You can use the provided Velcro. I think there's like 3 pieces that come with it, and just secure them down there and use Velcro to secure your batteries. I went ahead with my shelf liner with some double-sided Scotch tape, cut the proper length and width, and then just secured it down there. That'll hold my batteries in place. You got your power wire here. 1 extra bundle of wires that you're not going to need that comes off the Avion ESC is this auxiliary BEC wire and a governor wire, which is really a helicopter function, so we don't need any of that. So I bundled those together and just kind of push it ahead, just get it sort of out of the way. And then all you really have is your antennas. There was already a notch cut right down here with this piece of tape stuck around it, so I kind of left that. And then right along here, I went ahead and continued. I cut another notch, you can see right in here, and then ran my antenna. That's not focusing now. Ran my antenna right along this wall and put some tape over it so it's nice and flat. It's only that last section that's not sheathed that you have to make sure is straight. The other part of it, the gray part, can actually be curved. And then the last part of the antenna, I went ahead and I secured way up front here. I was trying to get it away from everything, and you can see right here, I went ahead and put a hole right through here and ran it almost to the edge here. You can see it kind of sticking out just a tad, but the antenna doesn't actually stick out of the fuselage. It just kind of runs through the side there, and then running a piece of tape here. That keeps that antenna 90 degrees to this one and kind of gets it out of the way of everything and keeps it away from the ESC as well. So once you got everything cleaned up like this, and now that I got it all set up, we're ready to go ahead and bind it up. The very next thing you want to do after binding is just set your throttle cut. We'll go into that menu, we'll highlight throttle cut, we'll go to inhibit, we'll highlight that, and then we'll select our switch. I usually use this red switch right here. I'll go ahead and flip that switch, it'll assign it to G. I'll go ahead and press the button, and then we'll go ahead and I'll move my wheel over to position 2, which is the up position for me. I'll make that one white, and I'll make the other ones black. So what that's going to do for me, because that's the switch that I like to use, and you can use whatever switch you want, what's going to happen is when we're in this position, which is where I rest my hand when I'm flying, you can see I have throttle control, but in the other positions I don't. That's probably the first thing you want to set up so you have a safe airplane to work at the bench. Now with the power plugged in, the next thing we want to do is make sure all of our flight controls are neutralized. Ailerons, flaps, everything is neutralized along the center. Same thing with the elevators. It's usually best if you have a set of ball link pliers. If you don't have one, get one, but these are good for adjusting the ball links. I did notice that on this particular airplane, I had one or two of the ailerons, 1 or 2 of the flaps, the rudder, and even the elevator. I did have to slightly adjust. In fact, one of my elevators was a good 5 to 7 millimeters off from the other, so they were not equal. So make sure everything lines up nice and true, and all you have to do is just pull those ball links off, turn them in or out to adjust them. So same thing with the rudder. It was just a hair off, not bad. I remember my E-flite A10, it was perfect out of the box. I didn't have to turn a single ball link. And this may be the same or may not be the same for yours as well. So just make sure that everything is neutral before you're ready to go. Also, setting up dual rates and expos and flaps and stuff. Flaps right here, I went ahead and put a speed of 2. Also the flap settings right here. The first setting is 13 millimeters. The next setting is 22. There was no elevator to flap mixing in the manual, and I'll just kind of have to figure that out on my own. But make sure the throws are correct. And as I back out and I'll go into the dual rate menu, the instructions do call they do call for some expo, but I didn't use any. The rates on aileron and elevator are 100% for high and 70% for low. So you can see 100 on the high, 70 on the low, and you can just test those out. See that your control throws are less, and when you go to high, at the high setting, they're over at 100%. So once our flight controls are neutralized, flaps are working, our expo or dual rates and expos, if we want them, are set up. Now we're ready to move on. Next up, we'll just take a quick look at the retracts, make sure they're working properly. I did have to reverse my channel on that because I like down for down and up for up. I found the retracts are pretty neat. They're a pretty light duty retract, but you can see here they do have a wire bend in them here for a little bit of flex as well. They have these really nice straps here to hold the doors in place. And then one critical thing that you really want to check that you may not think of right off the bat to take a look at is you notice that this wheel spins very freely. Make sure your wheel collar is secure. But notice this wheel doesn't. It actually is locking up on me. It's not really turning. It spins part of the way. So you got to make sure your wheels on this plane, especially with a high performance tail dragger like this, you want to make sure they're both turning equally as smooth, because if you lock up one wheel or try to take off, you're going to be turning and you're going to be cartwheeling or ground looping the airplane, flipping it over. So I'll just loosen up this wheel collar and get it nice and free, but be sure to check that before you go launching down the runway. Last but not least is setting the CG, and good news is everything balanced perfectly. You can see here I put my own CG stickers on here. Book calls for balancing it at 120 millimeters aft of the leading edge, where the leading edge meets the root, and I went ahead and I used the actual seam here, which is about the same, so I had a concrete point to measure from, and I went back 120 millimeters. It is important to know when you balance this thing, make sure your prop and spinner is back on, and we can do that now because the battery's unplugged, and also we have a throttle cut set, and you need to have all the weight on there to balance the airplane. Also with the canopy on, you want to balance it with the canopy on. The CG stickers really weren't needed, but I just wanted to kind of see where it was on this thing because I think CG is going to be critical on this. It's important to note that most airplanes, we're taking the battery and we're putting it in the front because it needs some nose weight. Well, not with this one. The engine in this thing, this 50, 60, 800 kV motor is so massive and so heavy up here that the plane starts off way nose heavy. We're putting the battery in there to bring the CG back, which is kind of an opposite. And you can see where the CG is. The battery is basically on it and most of it actually behind it. So with this 5,000 pack in there, canopy on, prop and spinner on, it balanced perfectly at this 120. So with a lighter pack, we may have to come farther aft, or when we fly, we'll find out if we need to come farther aft. But there's not much room to move around this battery forward and back. In fact, it's all the way at its forward limit as far as I could get it to the receiver wires there. And then it also can come back probably about another, maybe another inch, inch and a half or something. So, but anyway, that's it, folks, for setting your CG on this airplane. Okay, guys, here's the completed V1200, all bridled and saddled and ready to go. Not only is this airplane, lightning fast at the flight line, but clearly it's super fast out of the box. I mean, no glue, 6 screws, easy cockpit setup, and you're ready to go. I found assembling this was a total pleasure. The fit of the parts was outstanding. The finish is just awesome. Apparently they're using some newer EPO or EPO procedure to get everything just glassy smooth. I found the ball links to be robust. They're tough. They're a newer, heavier duty. I think they're even a newer, heavier duty rod and ball link. And there's a lot of spar in this thing. It's a really rigid airplane. I mean, just the total airframe, and when you get this and you kind of try and tweak it, even the fuselage, there's spars running everywhere. So this thing is just super, super rigid. Beautiful aluminum spinner, and I love the integrated tail wheel. In fact, let me go ahead and do this, folks. Let me pull this thing up here, and we'll get it in front of the camera so you can see how nice that aluminum spinner is. I know we already kind of looked at a lot of this stuff, but there's cooling underneath. There's cooling on the side. The wings, the fit and finish are just outstanding. We'll go to the tail here, and I just love that tail wheel, that integrated. Let me see if I can angle this a little bit better. That integrated tail wheel is like one of the coolest things. How they design that into the rudder, but also there is a lot of plastic right along here that doubles it. And they doubled the rudder back here too, and they joined it together with a tough plastic hinge. So very nice integration of that. And of course you could see just how nice those push rods and those ball links are. They are pretty darn tough. Very, very beefy rods all the way around. And then of course the ring struts or ring rods and all that. And I do like the fact that in the landing gear here as well, they did put, as you can see right here, they put a loop in here. So there's actually, right here, there is some flexing in the retractable landing gear as well. So just really nice design overall. I'm really impressed with the thing. And stay tuned, folks. We put a little flying at the beginning, of course, but we'll have just some full-on flight demos of this thing. We're going to try and get these things, or let me try and get this. We'll try and get this thing out to the grass as well, so we'll have plenty of flight demos for you. We'll be flying it on mostly the SPEKTRUM packs, but we'll probably put some maybe Roaring Top and other packs in there as well. So stay tuned for those flight videos. They'll be available on the RCINFORMER YouTube channel, also on this video. In the upper right corner of this video, we're going to try to put those on all of our videos. So when you click that information card there, it'll drop down a menu, which you can even do right now, and it'll show you all those videos within the series on this. So we're going to do a lot of flying at this and we'll have it at events and air shows to come for sure. So anyway, guys, we do appreciate you watching. There's a lot below the video. We appreciate you guys. Please check out the links below our video in the description. We are putting stuff on Instagram and Twitter every day. So those links are below for you guys to check out. Also below, there's links to purchase. If you guys choose to get one of these and you want to support the RCINFORMER YouTube channel, we do appreciate it. Anytime you click on our links below the videos, purchase a plane through that link, it supports our channel. We get a little commission for it, and we do appreciate you guys supporting us. Otherwise, guys, just like and subscribe, comment, share our videos around is a real easy way to support us. If you have friends that want to see our videos or may be interested in seeing our stuff, tell them, hey, go check out the video, like and subscribe, and be sure to hit that notification bell that's right below the video in the lower right-hand corner below the video. That bell will notify you when we turn on or when we add new videos to the channel. So anyway, guys, we do appreciate you guys watching. This thing is fast and furious. We will have it out, like I said, for lots of flight demos, so stay tuned. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching, and as always, folks, we'll see you next time.